stand on the north bank of the River Thames in modern London, and your eyes are immediately drawn to the massive stone walls of the Tower of London. Tourists gather, cameras raised, watching the river slide past a skyline of glass and steel. Now remove it. Erase the tower completely. No white stone fortress, no royal symbol of power, no looming walls guarding the river. Instead, imagine open ground, a stretch of uneven earth near the water's edge, broken only by wooden structures, small docks, and the faint outline of older Roman ruins slowly collapsing into the soil. The year is not 2026. It is around the year 1000. And this is London before it became London as we know it. Historical context: a city reborn from abandonment. By the year 1000, London was no longer the Roman city of Londinium, but it was also not yet the powerful medieval capital it would become. After the Roman administration withdrew from Britain in the early 5th century, urban life across much of the island declined sharply. London was no exception. The old Roman city, once filled with stone buildings, bathhouses, and paved streets, was largely abandoned. For nearly 2 centuries, the area within the Roman walls saw little organized urban life. Instead, a new settlement began to form slightly to the west, along the Thames. This early Anglo-Saxon trading settlement is often referred to as Londinium, a place of merchants, craftsmen, and river activity. But by the late 9th century, everything changed. Under the rule of Alfred the Great, London was reoccupied and fortified again, this time within the old Roman walls. This restored settlement became known as Londonburg. By the year 1000, London existed as a fortified Anglo-Saxon town, shaped by defense, trade, and survival. It was not large, it was not clean, it was not stable. But it was alive again. Urban layout: a city inside old walls. The London of 1000 AD was defined by boundaries, specifically the surviving Roman walls. These walls, built centuries earlier, still stood in many places, though often damaged or partially collapsed. They formed a rough rectangle around the city, enclosing a much smaller population than they once had. Inside these walls, the layout was irregular and organic. The straight, orderly Roman street grid had not been fully maintained. Instead, narrow, winding lanes developed over time, shaped more by usage than by planning. The main streets were dirt paths, often muddy, especially in wet weather. There were no modern drainage systems. Rainwater mixed with waste, turning roads into difficult, slippery passages. Wooden buildings lined these streets, tightly packed together. Most structures were constructed using timber frames, with walls made from wattle and daub, a mixture of woven wood and mud. Roofs were typically thatched with straw. Stone was rare for ordinary buildings. It was expensive, and most Roman stone structures had either collapsed or been repurposed. The skyline of London in 1000 AD was low and uneven. No towering cathedrals yet dominated the view. No massive castle stood by the river. The Tower of London simply did not exist. Population and social structure. The population of London around the year 1000 is estimated to have been between 10,000 and 20,000 people. This made it one of the larger towns in England at the time, but still small compared to its Roman past, and tiny compared to the modern metropolis. Society was structured, but not rigidly urban in the way later medieval cities would be. At the top were royal officials and local elites, individuals connected to the king or regional power structures. London held importance as a political and economic centre, so royal influence was present. Below them were merchants, who played a crucial role in the city's life. Trade was the engine that kept London functioning. Craftsmen formed another key group: blacksmiths, carpenters, leather workers, and others whose skills supported daily life. Most people, however, lived modestly. Their homes were small, often consisting of a single room. Families lived, worked, and slept in the same space. There was little privacy, little comfort, and life was uncertain. Daily life, survival and routine. Daily life in London around 1000 AD was shaped by necessity. Most people woke at dawn, as natural light dictated the rhythm of the day. Artificial lighting was limited. Candles and oil lamps were expensive and not widely used. Food was simple. Bread formed the foundation of most diets, often coarse and made from barley or rye. Meat was less common, especially for ordinary people, though fish from the Thames was widely consumed. Vegetables like onions, leeks, and cabbage were common, along with occasional dairy products. Water from the Thames was not always safe to drink, especially within the city. Wells provided cleaner sources, but access varied. Sanitation was a constant problem. There were no sewer systems as we understand them today. Waste was often thrown into the streets or into pits. Over time, this created strong odors and unsanitary conditions. Animals moved freely through the city, pigs, chickens, and dogs, adding to the noise and disorder. The air was filled with sounds, hammering from workshops, shouting from traders, the movement of carts, and the constant presence of the river. Compared to modern London, the difference is extreme. Today's structured streets, clean water systems, and regulated spaces did not exist. Instead, London was raw, crowded, and constantly in motion. Trade and the River Thames. The Thames was the lifeline of the city. Nearly everything that entered or left London passed through the river. Wooden docks and simple quays lined the riverbank. Ships, mostly small by modern standards, arrived carrying goods from across England and from continental Europe. Trade connected London to regions such as northern France, the Low Countries, and Scandinavia. Goods included wool, which was one of England's most valuable exports, as well as hides, metals, and agricultural products. In return, London received items like wine, pottery, and luxury goods. Markets were active spaces. Traders set up stalls in open areas, selling goods directly to customers. There were no permanent enclosed marketplaces like those seen in later centuries. The economy was not yet complex, but it was growing, and London's position on the Thames ensured its importance. Religion and the church. Religion played a central role in daily life. By the year 1000, Christianity was firmly established in England, and London was an important religious centre. Churches were among the few stone structures in the city. One of the most significant was Old St. Paul's Cathedral, which stood on the site of the modern St. Paul's Cathedral. This early cathedral was already a major religious institution, though far simpler than the later versions that would replace it. Churches were not just places of worship. They were centers of community life. They marked time, structured the calendar, and influenced behavior. Bells rang to signal events. Religious festivals shaped the rhythm of the year. For most people, the church was a constant presence in an otherwise unstable world. Defense and threat. London in 1000 AD was not a peaceful place. The city's defenses were essential. The old Roman walls provided protection, but they were not perfect. Repairs were ongoing, and some sections were weaker than others. Gates controlled entry and exit. Threats came from multiple directions, but one of the most significant during this period was the Vikings. Throughout the 9th and 10th centuries, Viking raids targeted English towns, including London. At times, the city was attacked, occupied, or forced to defend itself against incoming fleets. This constant threat shaped the city's structure. People lived with the awareness that conflict could return at any time. The absence of the Tower of London is especially important here. The tower, built later by William the Conqueror after 1066, would become a central symbol of control and defense. But in 1000 AD, that symbol didn't exist. Defense relied on older, less centralized systems. Political control, a city of strategic value. By the year 1000, London was under Anglo-Saxon rule, part of the Kingdom of England. Kings recognized its importance, not just as a settlement, but as a center of trade and administration. Royal authority was present, though not always directly visible in daily life. Officials managed taxation, law, and order. But control was not absolute. Power could shift quickly, especially during times of invasion or political instability. London's value made it a target and a prize. Transformation. The city that was about to change. Everything in London around the year 1000 was on the edge of transformation. Within decades, the Norman conquest of 1066 would reshape England and London itself. Under William the Conqueror, new stone architecture would rise. The Tower of London would be constructed, permanently altering the city's skyline and its system of control. Urban growth would accelerate, population would increase, trade would expand, and London would begin its long transition into one of the most important cities in the world, a city without its symbol. Looking at modern London, it is easy to assume continuity, that the city has always been powerful, always been large, always been central. But the London of 1000 AD tells a different story. It was smaller, fragile, still recovering from collapse, a city without its most famous landmark, a city still finding its place. And yet, within its narrow streets, wooden houses and crowded riverbanks, the foundations of the future were already there. The London we know today did not appear suddenly. It was built slowly, over centuries, layer by layer. And before the tower stood over the Thames, there was only a town, holding on, waiting to become something more.